Welcome to Pop Pod Weekly. My name is Anna.
Hi guys, it's Becca.
And we're here with the Weekend Roundup girls.
Hello.
So excited, Lauren and Maddie. How are you guys doing?
We are good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna identify myself. I'm Lauren.
Yeah, I'm Maddie.
For the voices, for the listeners.
Yeah, you guys can listen to season 1 and 2 of their podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts. It's really juicy.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
is.
We
I
try.
really like it.
Yeah, thank you. We are getting ready for season 3, which
Yep.
I guess we'll toss it out there. It's coming in January.
Yeah.
Is
Yay.
the date. First official date. Listen to it on Pop Pod.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's we're doing well. We're excited to be back in here with you guys to talk some serious shit.
Yes, I know. And on your, just have to ask you a question about your
Yeah.
podcast. So on season 3, like what are we going to be talking about?
This is such a good question.
This is a great question. Do we even know the answer?
So Maddie and I have decided to kind of take back our privacy a little bit.
Good. Okay, I can see why.
Not too much.
We're still gonna have like some
Sharing.
juicy stories
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're also like people have been asking for more like topics. Like they don't
Topic-based.
just want us. So like we're probably gonna talk about like drugs.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
it. Period.
Just that's it. Drug podcast.
Yeah, it's the drug podcast now.
So you're like I know
Sweet.
people are asking
Yeah.
for that.
It's the drug era.
Yeah, we're in our drug era. So
And like
we're going to talk about heroin.
Yeah,
Sweet.
like moving out, living
Yep.
on your own, like
Yeah.
kind of just like more of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So not just juice, but
Yeah.
you know, we'll make that
Little
stuff
juice.
juicy too.
Little juice. Yeah.
always.
So it's going to be a little bit of a different form, but still
Yeah.
good.
And I liked
Yes.
listening when you guys had your guests. You've had some
The
awesome
model
guests,
one
including
was
us.
my favorite.
But I like it when you guys interview people too.
Thank you.
Yeah, what was the model one?
Lexi.
Lexi.
Everyone loves that
Shaw.
episode.
It's such a good episode.
She did such
She's
an amazing
great.
job. We're
I
gonna
love
have to get
her
back
voice
on.
too.
Yeah.
She's so freaking cool. It's
Isn't
like
she just the
story
coolest
about
person?
the
Yeah.
boyfriend was
No.
just so
I
juicy,
know.
relatable.
relatable.
She's so cool. Like
She's so cool.
She's
Yeah.
literally been my like friend crush since forever. Like she's like my
Yes.
my brother's friend, and I was just like, oh my god, do you want to come on my podcast?
Yes, because who was she modeling for in Europe? It was
Oh my
like
god, like Dior,
Everybody.
Burberry.
Yeah.
She's been on like Vogue. Like
Right.
she's like yeah,
She's so
up there.
So that's like when you guys were interviewing her, I was just like painting the picture in my head, like her running around like Paris, but like having these relationships.
Yeah.
It was just like so
Yeah.
easy to visualize. Like it
No,
was
it's
such
so
a good.
good.
It was 2-part episode, right?
Yeah.
yeah. It was so
yeah,
good.
she just had a lot to say. We were like perfect, but it's crazy. Like she used to work at like the gas station in Hammond's Plains, like,
Yeah.
and then now she's just like
Yeah.
in Paris.
in Vogue. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also like when you guys give advice. You guys give really good advice.
Thank you
you.
so much. I actually went on a date the other day. Here's me giving the juice. I'm like, you can't talk about my
Your
personal
personal
life,
life,
but if you put a
but
microphone
you
in
have
front of
to.
me,
Yeah.
I'll tell you everything
Yes.
about
Now
it.
that we're here.
This is a safe space.
Yeah, nobody can find me on this corner of the internet.
No,
But I went
exactly.
on a date the other night, and he let me know that he had listened to 2 episodes before coming. One was the homie hopping episode of
Oh, no.
me. Yeah,
He was like,
we
I
all
like
know.
the
We all
sound of
remember.
this episode. Yeah.
Go listen to that. And the Scared of Dicks episode.
Oh gosh.
And this was before we went on the date, so I didn't think he was going to actually show up, but
He told
like,
you he's
fine.
like before you guys went out on the date. He said I've listened to 2 episodes.
yes.
Okay.
And I asked which ones, and I was just
Okay.
like, please don't be homie hopping, please don't be homie hopping. It was. He's like,
Why did he tell you?
It's the most intriguing one.
I mean, I had to listen to it over again
Yeah.
and hear
Yeah.
everything he said and think about everything that he interpreted from that
Yeah.
perspective.
Oh, gosh.
But it was okay. He had nice things to say about the podcast. He actually seemed like cool about it.
Into it.
Okay.
Into it, liked it. Said that the reason I bring it up is because he also listened to the advice episode and was like, I was really shocked by the depth of the advice. Like he kind of thought it was going to be like,
Thank you.
fuck all men, cut him off. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Which I have my days.
Yeah.
But we do give off that energy.
We
To
do.
be fair, like I feel like people like I'll wear like my dump him shirt and people
Yeah.
are just like, oh, they hate men, but it's like no, like
I think people just are
Not all
surprised
the
when we have a
time.
little
yeah,
bit of a
like
brain.
it depends on the day.
Yeah. To love them, to hate them, it's all part of the journey. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah, it does. You don't get more loving as you get older. Let's just put it that way.
fair enough. Like
I loved the advice, and you like. I love listening to the perspective because you guys are 22, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna be 42 in like 2 weeks. So, but anyway, I was really like, I'm like, these girls are like wise beyond their years.
Thank you. It's the early onset trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're just traumatized. It's not anything
Yeah, I
else.
liked it. So I feel like this is a good segue into talking about Winter House because maybe we can give some advice to women, girls, people.
Paige, Frank.
Exactly. Paige.
Dump him.
Yeah. So if you guys aren't watching Winter House, it's really good. So just watch it. It's
Great season.
You don't need any brain cells whatsoever. So it's a great
Gets rid of
binging
them.
show.
Love that.
But in it, they're actually closer to my age. The guys in it, like the girls are, 25, 26.
Yeah.
But the guys are all like 37, 38.
Yeah.
I think Kyle's 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, these guys, I can relate because I'm like, dated that guy.
Yeah.
But in it, we have Luke, who I've always loved.
Yes.
Because he's super hot. And that's why you love people.
And he goes outside and cuts wood with his shirt off.
Yeah,
And
exactly. And he makes
maple
taps
syrup.
trees.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
So, but in it, he starts crushing on this girl for like a day.
Lindsay 2.0.
Yeah, it looks
She looks
exactly
exactly
like
like
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
So
Okay.
it's so strange. And then they're in the hot tub at one point, and she did say she liked him, but I think she said she goes for the most powerful guy in the room.
Which there isn't. This is the wrong room for you.
Right.
Honestly, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
the lineup that we have.
But like Austin is the most
Austin,
powerful
like,
guy in the room.
yeah.
Yeah, Austin pulls. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
always,
I can't
and
even
don't
get it.
Yeah,
Austin.
because he's got the I don't give a fuck attitude.
Yes.
Where Luke,
Yeah.
you would think,
There's
because
so
he's a
many
model,
fucks.
like I think she thought he was going to be hard to get because he's the hottest guy in
Yeah.
the room. And then he turns out to be the easiest to get and is like,
Obsessed.
when a guy's too touchy-feely too fast and is like, hey,
Yeah.
babe, do you want me to throw that salmon on? When he said that, I was like, her vagina just died.
Yeah. Shriveled up and
Yeah, it was
died.
like too soon to
Yeah.
be doubting on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just sad, but
He
I
did
know.
say when I wake up in the morning and I'm brushing my teeth, I think of her. And this was, I believe, a day or two.
Yeah.
So just the one toothbrushing
yeah, it was
experience,
too
but-
much.
honestly, I relate to Luke.
Yeah, no, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
You are Luke.
yeah.
I'm like,
You're the Luke.
I get it.
Yeah. So then, do you give people backward hugs?
No, I don't
Love
do
up on
that. I
them.
don't do that. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, because she was like really tipsy. They were all really tipsy. This is
Yeah.
the whole theme of the show. And then Luke like creeped up behind her and like
Yeah.
started whispering in her ear, like, "Are you okay?" And blah blah blah. And like
Yeah.
she just looked like she was gonna crawl out of her skin.
Yeah. I think Luke definitely comes on so strong because he just has, he's one of those guys that has the idea of what he wants in his head, which is like I don't know, where's he from? Wisconsin, like
Yeah.
simple life
Yes.
with a woman.
The
And
Wisconsin wifey.
yeah, the Wisconsin
Yeah.
wifey.
Yeah.
And he comes on so strong.
Right.
Which he also did with Hannah. A lot of people
Yes.
forget about
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Because things ended up switching around there at the end. But
Yeah.
I think, it was too much too
cheesy.
fast.
And she's like a power like crypto bitch. Like she was like
she sells
does
real
that
estate
mean, though?
Yeah.
in the metaverse.
in the metaverse. Yeah.
So do you guys know what that means?
Not
No.
really.
Okay.
Like the metaverse is like virtual reality ish.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then so I guess she's just selling.
But like, isn't that all automated? Like,
Yeah,
do
I
you
don't
need
know.
to get like a tour
I'm
by an
picturing
agent?
her like
She was saying she sells like space in,
the metaverse.
space.
In
yeah.
space.
Yeah.
I was picturing her in like Spy Kids 3 where they like shoot themselves into
Yeah.
the video game and they're a part of it, just showing houses in the
Exactly.
metaverse.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
But
She is cool.
yeah, I just think that Luke came on too strong. You can't be rubbing up on somebody. And one of the things that I learned too from this show, like I already knew this, but more so proved the point that if it's not an excited yes, then it is a no.
Yes.
And you can't just assume that
Yeah.
somebody wants to be touched up on and rubbed up on like that. It was just honestly so inappropriate. And I think too, a lot of people on Twitter were coming at her saying like, you didn't say anything earlier, you didn't push him off, you didn't do this and that. Ignoring the obvious issues with those statements. I feel like a lot of women experience unwanted, attention
Touching.
or touching comments every single day. So if you go through that so much, and she talked about growing up in a really intense religious environment.
Yeah.
I am not shocked that when unwanted attention was happening, she just completely shut down.
Yeah.
Her head was in her chest. She wouldn't look at him. She was bringing her arms in.
Yeah,
It was
her
just
body language
Her body
was
curled
like-
up.
Yeah.
It was really a trauma response, I think. So I think what's important about this is even though it's a small situation where she was like, oh, don't touch me, and it went on. It can be a lot bigger, I think, underneath the surface for a lot of women, and that was kind of what she was trying to get out. Saying, like, sometimes a girl doesn't need to tell you to stop, which she could have like worded a little more elegantly, but
What did you guys think of when she went to talk to him on the bed?
I'm glad she did.
Yes.
I think she did that was a really tough thing to do, to just go in there head first like that. She heard and just went, probably so she wouldn't psych herself out.
Right.
Yeah. And I liked that she said, like, I don't want to hear anything back when you make a person feel that way. I think that she really solidified herself in the show for that. Not that that's what she was trying to do, but it made her, she stood out on her own. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? She made a
and
name for herself.
I thought he did really well with that conversation because he really respected it.
Yeah.
He was like, can I say something? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay.
Fair enough.
Whereas like some guys would be like, well, fuck
out.
this then. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's why, because I was trying to think like, why do we not say things? First of all, I think as like women, we can be very like empathic. We're like, we don't want to embarrass someone. We don't want to make them feel bad. And then we also have this like, oh no, did I do something wrong by on night one being nice to him, which is obviously wrong. Don't ever think that you owe anybody anything. But then the other thing is like being a woman, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this too. The minute you reject someone, they can turn so mean.
Yeah.
They switch up.
And then they can be like, well, you're an ugly fucking bitch anyway.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I wasn't mentally prepared to take. So
you protect yourself from
you
that.
need to be stronger. Like, that's what I always
Take
like.
the hit.
Yeah. Like, I wish when I was younger, take the hit. Like, it's like sometimes you have
back.
to. Yeah, exactly. Like, sometimes you're just going to have to speak your truth and they're not going to like your reaction and you can't make everybody happy all the time.
Yeah.
I really liked that this was on TV because I do remember when they were filming, there was a Dumois blind that said that everyone's favorite Summer House guy got kicked off for a sexual assault, which was not
I
true.
didn't read
But, you know,
that.
now that we've watched it,
Yeah.
you know, so that's why you always take Dumois with a grain of salt. But the thing is what Luke did wasn't cool, and I'm glad that he left and gave, I can't even remember her name, Lindsay 2.0, time to collect herself.
Yeah.
Because the thing is nothing is ever going to change if you don't allow people to grow and change and learn from their mistakes. You know,
100%.
what Luke did was inappropriate and wrong, but I think that it's a lesson he needed to learn. He'll apply it going forward, and now that's someone who's more aware of consent.
Yeah.
And you know, everybody watching is too.
Yeah.
And like
100%.
that's the problem with Vanderpump Rules when they kicked off Stassi and
Kristen.
I said that where it was Stassi.
Stassi.
Yeah. We haven't Stassi.
Stassi. Yeah.
Like a lot of people were like, we would have rather have the conversation.
Yeah.
Now we
Yeah.
just like stifled that entire thing with Faith.
Yeah. And Faye just had to go on these random podcasts to talk about it. Why didn't we have that on the television with millions of people watching?
Seeing like in Faith saying like, this is why this was so dangerous and this is why.
I mean, they doxed her, didn't they? I
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah.
And called the police.
Yeah. So
Like,
when it wasn't her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like too, like it was good that he came back because he could have
Just left. Yeah.
been like, oh my God, I hate all these people. I'm never talking to them again.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm going to have that awkward conversation and risk looking like a complete moron, which, you know, it's embarrassing for him, I'm sure. But yeah, we all learned a lesson.
So should we have a little Craig Chi-Chi or should we move to Selena?
Let's just quickly talk about Craig.
yeah.
oh god,
Like the
I grew
frat.
up poor. I mean, no, not
I grew
like
up
poor, but
my dad owned a cleaning company, so we were really poor.
No, cleaning doesn't equal poor.
Yeah,
and we saw your house on Southern Charm.
yeah. I just
You're fine.
Yeah,
You're
and
okay.
he is. I think that how he handles a lot of these confrontations says more about what he's going to be in a relationship, and maybe that's the part that Paige doesn't want to acknowledge because. As we all know, Craig marches around that house being like, well, this is how I feel. I'm standing up for myself. I feel this way, so I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself, and on this coked out rage that I'm on.
Exactly.
And like Paige said, you are not the only person with feelings.
Yeah.
You cannot
Yeah.
go out drinking, and then when somebody does something that you don't like, ruin the night for everybody because of your screaming and yelling and drunken antics. Like, it's incredibly unattractive. I don't know how she's dealing with
It's so
it.
unattractive,
so
and they're not
unattractive.
issues. Like it's
No.
like it's different if you're like, I'm going to stand up for myself for injustice. It's like you're standing up for yourself because you took a hissy fit because you don't want to put your dishes in the sink.
Yeah, you're
like,
screaming because you refuse to clean up the house. I have people I pay for
that was so lame. That was cringy.
Oh, this is the worst part of the whole show was the first episode when he paid everyone off.
He's like, I'm doing really good with pillows now.
Yeah, he was like, my pillow company's doing good, so me and Paige, we're gonna take the master, and everybody else gets $100.
That was so.
That was so embarrassing.
How do you have sex with that man after
no,
that? Like,
I
that's
know.
just disgusting.
And he's also an alcoholic.
An alcoholic definitely is on some hardcore drugs. He likes to flex all day that he's not on Adderall anymore.
No.
Like, okay, well, you're definitely doing
something
something in between.
Yeah.
Like,
drugs,
yeah.
Well, they have to on that show because I do not understand how they drink that much.
I feel like that. Yeah, they have to just be really fucked up on drugs because there's no way they can drink.
Because how can you drink for endless hours on end?
Days,
and they are drinking. Like,
days.
yeah, on Southern Charm. I don't know if you watch Southern Charm, but I think they're also highly on uppers because like a tiny person like Naomi, who's probably like 95 pounds soaking wet, can drink like 20 Trulies over the span of like.
Yeah, they love those
with
Trulies.
no food.
Trulies. Yeah, and they have like 2 oysters.
I'm like, this does not make sense. Speaking from someone who has like 3 glasses of wine and is like head in the toilet.
Yeah.
I had one of those big beers and was like bombed.
Yeah, you were like dancing at Thanksgiving dinner. My parents were like, stop drinking Becca's not allowed.
So yeah, something's going on. There's drugs.
Yeah,
100%. Of course.
I know.
It's Bravo. I mean, Vanderpump Rules was just an absolute.
Yes.
They were putting them on the show. 5 of them going into the bathroom at work and then coming out and being like, we just had a little kiki. You know,
I know.
It's like okay.
Well, even when Katie gained a little bit of weight, as they love to remind her, she was like, "Yeah, I don't do Adderall anymore."
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, I'm not on drugs. Like, I have an appetite now.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes I get jealous of people that can do that because it seems like a magical drug. Like,
you're like, you have focus, you have energy, and
you like
you're tiny.
You don't even need to stop to eat. You can party all night long. But then I know in my head, in theory, what goes up must come down.
Yeah,
and like
you just
there's
have
a
to
price
lose
for everything.
all of your
100%.
interpersonal relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
and have a
that's
nervous
true.
breakdown because we knew someone that was on it and she had a complete breakdown.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like 3 years in, and we were kind of like, well, we're waiting.
And that's normally how long people last on a Bravo show. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know, like, we talk about this too. Like, do a lot of people still do Adderall and like young?
yeah.
Oh, I was
like
gonna say,
the kids doing it?
Yeah, they do.
I don't know.
I'm like, yeah.
Is it like just for studying, or is it just like an everyday?
I
just
also
to cope?
resent people using it for studying just because I
Yeah.
didn't have that leg up. And I'm like, if I didn't get it, you didn't get it. You try studying with ADHD unmedicated. Bitch.
No,
I hated studying.
no. People use it for partying too. Like if they're going to like
Okay.
things that are like festivals and stuff. Like it's
for a
people will take
longer
it just
period of
to-
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They can drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for longer.
Yeah.
And do you get like a hangover from Adderall?
Like I don't know. Like it's more of like a just you're so tired after. 'Cause
Yeah.
you've just been like
And you probably like can't, like I found like
Yeah.
when we used to like party it up, anything that was like an upper, it just sucks because your like body is tired, but you can't sleep.
Yeah,
or
no, literally,
you're-
like you're just strung out. Yeah,
Yeah. Or like even drinking vodka Red Bulls is like a nightmare because you're like, I just want to sleep this hangover
like,
off, but you're like, I'm so awake.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If I sometimes will order like a double tequila Red Bull, and that's when I need to go home.
Yeah.
Like that's
You're
when
like,
things,
I can't.
because I'm feeling tired, and now I'm gonna go home and have heart palpitations for the
Yeah, no,
Literally.
we're not gonna go there. That's bad. Okay, let's talk about
speaking of
Selena.
substances.
Selena.
What was it called?
My Mind and Me.
My Mind and Me. Okay,
Great song out.
what was Taylor's doc called?
Miss Americana.
I really liked Taylor's a lot.
I love Taylor's, yeah.
Yeah, I think I liked it a little bit better than this one, but we're not talking about Taylor's today.
Yeah.
Because I actually didn't watch Taylor.
I
didn't
learned
watch
so much
Taylor's
about
either.
Taylor
It's very
in
good.
it. And I really, one thing I like about, and then we'll talk about Selena, but the thing I really liked about Taylor's documentary is her talking so openly about like her eating disorders and like the pressure, because I feel like I'm still so annoyed that in whatever year it is, what is it, 2022, that we're still pretending that people are naturally just like
Tiny.
walking down the street looking like Hailey Bieber. It's like,
or pretending that any body's acceptable. It's like, really?
is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Because that's not really what we're seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that like I really liked, because I just assumed that Taylor was just
a stick,
born
yeah.
like you know, tall, thin, because obviously she's a tall, thin person, but like
she's very healthy now.
Yeah, now
healthy.
she does, and so I just really liked how she talked about that because I feel like you know, you would never know that about her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows that I really like Taylor Swift, but
Yes, I saw you dancing on that stage. I was like, were you part of the Taylor Swift tribute band?
I was blacked out, but I was up there.
Yeah.
I was like, did they hire Lauren?
No, I walked up to the stage and I said, let me on.
Can I get on?
Let me on the stage right now.
You won't regret it.
Those were the best videos because you were like living your best life.
vibing.
You look
oh my
so
God.
happy.
I felt like a celeb. I was smiling so big. It was like
I
Taylor
know.
Swift. Some people who listened to the show were in the front row, so they were like saying my name, and I was like, "This is it. This is the highest point of my life." I'm not even on E right now, and I feel like
it's so fun.
But one thing I'll say super quick about Taylor, and then we'll move on, is that I love the Miss Americana documentary, and I think it shows a lot of political activism on her end that she did with the Lover era. My criticism to Taylor, because I'll always be the first to critique her too, is that she really played on this like allyship, political activist. That's who she was going to be from now on when the Lover album came out and when Miss Americana came out. And then once that era was kind of ended by the pandemic, Taylor really never continued her political activism past then.
Okay.
She really only discusses voting. So she posted the other day to vote in the midterms.
Yep.
And that's really about it. Like she didn't post about Roe v. Wade.
Like she left it in that era.
She left it in that era, and I didn't appreciate that. And also the other conspiracy is there was a lot of rainbows and a lot of subliminals and things that was alluding to Taylor maybe coming out as bisexual or queer that didn't end up happening. So I feel like the Lover era in general was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
And that is my critique on the Miss Americana documentary. But if you're listening, you should go watch it. It's fabulous. But
Okay, I will watch it.
It's just that's
I
my critique.
do
Is
really
it didn't,
like it.
It didn't carry on.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of Taylor Swift's.
One thing I will say though, just about the subliminal thing, I feel like people always like assume
That
Taylor
she's
Swift
doing
is
something.
doing something like
Mm-hmm.
like behind the scenes.
Like she's so smart that she's
it's
like
a subliminal that
Yeah.
she's secretly gay, and then they're like disappointed she's not gay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, well, you kind of just
Yeah, you
pushed
just
that
like
on
made
her.
a
Yeah,
conspiracy
I guess.
theory.
Yeah, it's like, and then you're like kind of like pressuring her to like even come out, or like if she is, or even if she's not, it's like, okay, well, she's not.
Yeah.
You're just kind of putting
Why
that on
does
her.
she always get that pushed on her?
I know she like does that.
I could tell
for
you
her
for
albums and
hours.
stuff. Yeah, like she'll like hint at like her albums coming out at a certain time, or like certain
So
like,
she is
Disney
playing
titles.
into it.
She
She
does
always
play
has.
into it,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
But and then it's like I
Now
don't know,
everyone takes
everything as
that
like
she
an
does.
Easter egg. So
Okay,
it's like
gotcha.
okay, like I don't know.
On the topic of like allyship, we have been talking about like Harry Styles, and we're like,
Yeah.
is he taking advantage?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, can you tell
Yeah.
me what you think about that? Because sometimes it's like he, you know, like I know he's
not sure if it's
like done
authentic.
lots of
Yeah.
like rainbows, or is there like a trans flag that
He does a coming. So fans can come to his show. He does this thing he's done for a while for people in the pit.
I'm already petrified.
who come and they aren't out. They're fans of him, and he'll do this thing where he like brings them out of the closet, basically. Like he has this like gay pride flag on stage, and once he raises it above his head, that means like you're officially out. This has happened all the time. You can find it on TikTok. My
He
thing,
like professionally outs people.
he professionally takes you out of the
That's
closet.
kind of crazy. I've
He's
never
like
heard of
taking
that.
and
people's-
potentially dangerous.
Yeah,
for some
that just
kids.
This
Yeah.
just seems that seems
He
crazy to me.
he's like FaceTimed people's moms or dads like during his shows and like at their request. You know, at the child's request.
But it's like a
He's not
cult
really
leader.
outing,
Like
yeah.
when you're in a cult, for example, and this is what I always like even say this happens in like, you know, spin studios. But like when you love a leader so bad,
Yeah.
you'll do anything.
to get
And when they're
attention.
giving you that love, and not saying that these people aren't actually coming out of the closet, but are they feeling pressured to do so?
Yeah.
By this
or
concert date.
doing it in a way that's like maybe not authentic to them.
Yeah.
And then like so with Harry, I've always been like, because he's not, like we've talked about this, he's not the first to wear dresses and makeup.
Yeah.
That's always been part of rock and roll, first of
Yeah.
all. Like look at like anyone.
Bowie.
Yeah, exactly. And so sometimes I'm like, is he really like an ally, or is he just using this
is
for
a brand.
branding?
No, I do think it's branding.
We've kind of come to that conclusion too. Well, we're almost
yeah,
there,
like,
but
I
I don't
wanna
think
say
he's hurting me, but well, I don't know. a lot of people think that brands do hurt when they just like jump on for Pride Week and then they jump off. Yeah. It's like they're trying to make money off of it.
He kind of, at least he sticks with it, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Like he's like consistently doing it, but I don't know, like it does seem kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
Like I've always felt kind of weird about it.
Is he bi? No.
I grew up as a huge One Direction fan from day one, so I've really analyzed this shit. And you know, there's the whole Larry thing that he was in a relationship with Louis Tomlinson and his band. That's like a ship.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do think that they definitely did a little something on the side because it's just like
all right.
There's some videos that are like, you can't really explain this one, but
like
so I definitely think Harry Styles is queer.
Yeah.
And I do think he's had a relationship with men. There's this one British radio host that I'm like totally convinced that he was sleeping with or dating for a while.
Yeah.
However, I do just find it interesting to be, that is his whole brand. He is like the LGBTQ like place to go. There's rainbows, there's dresses. He's kind of like in this metrosexual kind of like brand, but then only
he won't say it.
Ever like wants to make every other part of his life super super private. So when he came out and talked about Olivia Wilde, they said like, oh, you know, you've only ever been in public relationships with women, and he said, I've never been in a public relationship. Like, just because you see me out with people doesn't mean that I'm in a you know. So I don't know. I do feel like nobody has to come out.
Right.
But
if you're encouraging other people to come out and then you're like, I'm still in the closet.
I don't know.
But I also, I don't know. I kind of also am like on the wavelength of like, nobody needs to say anything.
Yeah.
Like, why do we need labels at all? So it's like,
I agree.
I'm on that wavelength too.
Yeah, like I'm like, who cares? Who's fucking who? Yeah. Like, who cares?
And your like your sexuality can be so fluid that maybe like you're like as we know,
because our kids are constantly like, coming out and we're like, great, honey, like going back in and then coming back out.
And
it's like, why don't you just
whatever works?
We don't
Sexuality
label
is
it.
fluid. I still like, and I talk about this all the time on my podcast. Still struggle with labeling my sexuality because, and I've always said the only thing the only thing that ever feels wrong coming out of my mouth is I'm a straight woman. So I feel like you know, pan, queer, bi, whatever. You know, it's just it's a journey. It's a process. It's
a process. Yeah. So we've never like come out and been like, damn Harry, but we've just like asked the question. We're like,
we're watching him.
No, it's just interesting.
Yeah, like
it's interesting for sure.
Right. Because if like deep down he's just like this like white heterosexual who's like cashing in. I mean, I don't think it ever hurts to like, you know, be an ally.
Yeah.
And
but it's like he's not like I'm an ally. That's the thing too.
Yes.
He's like it's like him. It's his brand.
Yeah.
I think that's where I got thrown. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
it's like him.
Is he part of the community? You know? And then I'm like, oh, is he just making money off the community?
Is he just wearing the dress because Vogue told that Vogue picks the dress? And they're like, this is what you're going to wear. Is he trying
to steal Little Nas's spotlight? That's what I want to know.
Well, also too, if you look at him and he's like just walking down the street and like he dressed himself, he's wearing like the grossest shit.
Exactly. That was our point.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, your stylist is doing something.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, where are your nails?
Yeah. Like, so it's like, I know your stylist is definitely like considering
curating all of that.
Curating that.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much of him is it even?
Right.
Period. Like, is it even his vibe at all?
Yeah.
You don't know.
We will never know. Maybe we will. We'll see what his next vibe is when he like does a new album.
Yeah. I think he'll disappear for a while. This new one, he's been touring.
Yeah. Oh my God, he needs a break. He's going to be the next one to be hospitalized for meltdown.
Well, he just canceled a bunch of shows. Actually,
oh really? Yeah. See, people get sick, and so this brings us to Selena finally.
Yeah, perfect.
But so this documentary about Selena Gomez, it's over what, like a 5-year period?
Yeah, it's a long time.
Do you guys remember when that tour was going on? I think I was in 10th grade because she was going to Moncton and everybody had tickets and she never made it. She ended up canceling the tour because as we see in the documentary.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was I doing during those years? Or I think maybe I had
What
babies.
year was it?
It starts in 2016.
Yeah, 2016.
Are your kids into Selena Gomez?
The girls kind of like, they're into Taylor for sure.
Yeah. They love female vocalists. They're obsessed with Taylor.
But like Taylor puts out such a large amount of music that it's like they can listen. Like Selena Gomez isn't on the radio every single day.
No. Yeah.
But like Lose You to Love Me.
Yeah.
Is that the song?
Yeah.
They loved singing that one. They loved that ballad.
That was a good one.
Like she's a good one that you can play for kids, like love song and stuff like that.
Justin and I forget the Justin and Selena.
So I wanted
to have a little recap.
I wanted to talk about that actually because I listened to, and I gotta plug this. What I will say, it's a podcast, and not to completely go back on everything we just said, but it is a gay conspiracy podcast.
Okay.
So it talks about like Carly Kloss and Taylor Swift or Camila Cabello and Lauren Jareggi, and just goes over why people think that, and it's done in a respectful manner, so it's fine. I enjoy it. But they did a with somebody else did a 3 or 4 part Jelena recap, which I listened to before I came here.
Jelena.
And so they got together pretty young. When he first came into the scene, he was quite younger than her, and he kind of was going around on interviews and saying he had a crush on her, and she was going on the Ellen show being like, oh, he's like my kid brother. It's like nothing like that. And they would be seen grabbing ice cream in places, which I really just think was PR. Like they'd be on like a balcony eating or whatever. Yeah. And then we had the video, I forget what it was. What was that video they almost kissed in? Ashley Tisdale was in it.
Oh yeah,
Call Me Maybe.
There was like a big YouTube.
They did a big
parody
music
video.
I think it was Call Me Maybe.
It was Call Me
a bunch
Maybe,
of celebrities did like this like homemade YouTube video, and Justin and Selena were in it, and they almost kissed. And that was their announcement of like they're actually together. They were probably like 16, 17.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
And so that was like probably her first boyfriend, like her first love.
Yeah, no, they were definitely each other's first loves. Like they both said that.
Yeah,
can you imagine being a teenager and having a relationship that intense?
Public. Yeah, and that public. And so they were like on and off for a couple years, mainly due to Justin like cheating, which she was always pretty. Selena used to be real messy on Instagram and like comment on things, and people would say, "Oh, are you and Justin together?" And she would respond and say, "No, he prefers models." Like she used.
That's why she has so many followers.
She used to see. This is where I got everything from. Because I watched her growing up. But and then
I liked her sassiness.
A little while later, Justin and Selena were actually spotted buying drugs together, which I wanted to talk about on here. There is paparazzi video.
What kind of drugs?
Yeah, that's kind of
not
hilarious.
weed. I do think like more intense drugs. So basically, what it was, you can look it up if you want. Like
let me get my
computer.
Grandma, get on the computer.
So there's like this like kind of seedy part in LA, and there's this convenience store that people know, and this is well known that you can go in, drop the drugs in the sink of this convenience store bathroom, leave, and then whoever wants it can come and get it. Justin and Selena are seen going into this convenience store in a
kind of crazy. They just
80,000.
They're so famous.
Yeah.
Get someone else to get your
They both look strung out. They both look
Yeah.
strung out as fuck. They're in this beautiful car in this like seedy part of LA. Go into the convenience store, go straight into the bathroom and leave. And when they're leaving, they can kind of see the pops and they're like, oh shit, we've been caught. And they kind of hustle to the car and take away. And then
that's crazy.
Yeah, they were.
I wonder what kind of drugs.
I mean, definitely like some
coke or
amphetamines,
some like party drugs.
Yeah, some party drugs. And so then we didn't see much of them for a couple years. It's pretty assumed that they were just like doing a lot of drugs together, kind of dragging each other down. Path. I mean, they're both child stars, so that makes sense. Yeah. And then in 2018, we had them being seen again at they were riding their bikes and they were at the hotel serenading one another, and then that was kind of like their last go at it, which Hailey Bieber talked about on Call Her Daddy. And then after that, a couple months later, Justin was engaged to Hailey.
Yeah, that happened so fast.
Yeah.
So was he cheating? Is it assumed that he was cheating?
Saying like it was like Hailey, Selena, like it
was
kind of
always
back and forth.
He was
it was always between the two.
I forgot to mention. Thank you. That throughout those years of him and of Selena and Justin being together, when they were off, he was often out seen with like random Instagram models like Chantel Jeffries, all these. But the one that he kept being with was Hailey. So it was always Hailey, Selena, Hailey, Selena.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Hailey?
Yeah, I do.
Love Hailey.
I think Hailey.
She's like my icon.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like she is so.
Yeah. I love Hailey.
I also feel like the way that Hailey is like it's the whole entire vibe. Like, and I feel like she's too young for us. We're too old to be that relaxed.
Yeah, because to me,
but she's definitely a vibe for she doesn't get ruffled.
I just kind of appreciate like her style and the way like how she's gorgeous.
Yeah,
she does have like her moments, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like her fashion. Her personality.
Her personality's a little meh.
boring.
I'm like,
but I feel like that's in style.
Identity.
Yeah, it is kind of.
Look at Kendall Jenner
People love just
and Kylie.
The Kardashians.
Yeah, it's just like don't like get flared. Just be like,
yeah.
But Selena has a lot of personality. That's part of the reason why I like her so much.
She does have a lot of personality.
Well, she has a personality disorder, as I do myself. So we do have a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely were like feeling. Yeah,
I related to so many things. She said.
Let's start. Should we start at the beginning?
Let's start at the beginning.
They had that. We kind of got to see her getting ready for tour and having that little breakdown that she had backstage, which was really tough to see because
I almost cried.
I know. Yeah. It was really relatable, not to bring it down
relatable.
to like a very minuscule
Besides
level.
the touring part.
Yeah, let's take out the international
and the
tour.
millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But that might be the worst feeling when you look back on the thing that you are so passionate about, creative, the thing that you're creating. So for us, our show.
You've worked like so hard.
You worked so hard. And you just want to impress the people who, you know, expect things from you and appreciate you.
Yeah.
And to just break down like that and feel like it's just so shitty.
And like you suck.
Yeah. And you suck. And why are you even doing this? And you're wasting everyone's time. Like,
I know.
It just was a hard thing to watch.
I almost feel like that's like part of the creative process. Though.
Yes.
Like, I don't think I've ever done anything creatively and been like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like there's always one stage where I'm like, no, I hate it. Everyone's going to hate it. I like I'm not happy with it. So like, I feel like that's kind of part of the creative process too, but it's just like amplified with her. Cause it's like,
I think like the feeling of disgust of yourself when you do anything that's putting yourself out there. Like I could feel that like, we podcast, so obviously we're all talking about our feelings, even if no one's listening. You can always leave and feel like a vulnerability hangover or like embarrassed or like just like, I don't like myself.
Yeah.
So
100%.
she's like she said, she's like, I'm watching myself on a big screen. I don't like it. I'm listening to myself. I don't like it. I'm like, okay, I can relate. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it.
I hate everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's
exactly.
too little kid is what she was saying. It's too little kitty. Like, I just felt bad.
Especially because she's trying to like level up and like not be this like Disney star.
It didn't look kid at all.
And that's such a hard thing to do. Like you're gonna obviously feel like it's just so hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like we always talk about this. It's so awkward with adult stars like Katy Perry, Selena, Taylor. Their fan base is like 10.
Yeah.
And they're like grinding on stage. Like there was actually like
they showed that at her concert.
And I'm like, it would be weird as the artist. You're like, I'm a full-blown woman. I want to talk about my life. I want to be sexy. I want it. But then there's like a 9-year-old being like,
Alex Russo.
Yeah. It's like, it's such an awkward, like.
Yeah,
it's
weird.
It's strange. Yeah.
And as a mom, it's weird too, because like our kids love like Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, that video is not appropriate.
They can't watch her stuff. Yeah.
Right. And they did kind of get a little bit too much information at one point from a video. Some supervised
It took us a minute to get on to our parenting game, and we're like, okay,
so
YouTube's
don't count
bad.
the ages like 3 through 6.
Like
Where they watch every dirty music. I'm just kidding. Don't take my kids away.
Yeah, Can't Be Tamed by Miley Cyrus. That music video was everything.
Oh yeah,
as a kid.
Yes, Miley's again.
Yeah, Miley's another.
Yeah, she went really wild.
yeah.
And
she was like the Disney star, like the queen.
I love Miley Cyrus.
I do too.
It was kind of crazy that we had that big cut in in the documentary, which rumor has it there was about an hour and a half of that cut only 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
from
really?
release. Yeah, 2 weeks from release, which I was like, relatable. How many times have we cut out the juiciest part of an episode because we're like, I can't do this?
We just re-recorded the whole.
So do you guys think she put in more stuff about Justin and took it out, or what do we think was cut?
I think, if you look at that time span that was going on, you had like Justin's engagement, you had her dating The Weekend, you had
that was just completely
we had
and The Weeknd's notoriously into drugs.
And so then it's also believed that she had a lot of substance problems then, and then I do believe there was some hospitalizations for her due to the dehydration and exhaustion.
That almost happened to me a couple weeks ago.
We almost had to hospitalize her.
And so I feel like those dehydration and to me, when I hear a celebrity is going to rehab for dehydration and exhaustion, I'm like, I know that you have a drug problem.
It's like you're so rich that your hangover is so bad that they're taking you to the hospital to fix it. Like,
literally.
How many times would you just be like, please, somebody come get me and hook me up to an IV?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah.
So the cut was crazy. The cut was crazy.
Yeah.
But I get it, why she did it. But then,
And
but
you
also,
could get people not signing off on things.
Yeah,
true.
But also, too, I feel like it's like, if you're going to release this, like, tell-all documentary, you kind of have to tell all.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know, like, it's like, okay, you're talking about all this mental illness, and it's like, that's awesome that you're, like, shining a light on that, but substance abuse is such a huge part of that, or like that contributes so much to it. So it's like, if that's what she left out, I don't know if that's what she left out, but if it is,
right,
it's like that's such a huge thing that also could have helped people. That you're kind of, it just seems weird to like leave.
And I find it goes hand in hand a lot, like mental illness and abuse.
Does. Yeah, so it's like it almost leaves like a whole part of the story out. That's like kind of changes the context of it.
People with personality disorders as well. Selena has bipolar. I have borderline personality disorder. Substance abuse can be a massive part of self-medicating because personality disorders can be so hard to diagnose for so many years. A lot of women don't get diagnosed with personality disorders until late into their 20s, if not older, because a lot of the time these personality disorders are deemed as anxiety and being dramatic. So
she's just crazy.
She's just crazy. She's just so drama. So I think, to really have the conversation around bipolar disorder that I think she wanted to have, I definitely would have appreciated some more talk around the substance abuse, since almost a lot of people who struggle with that go through needing to self-medicate.
So it just makes, it would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, or like what triggered you deciding to get help and when? Like I felt like they were a bit vague about that. Like she was crying, me and Becca, just as parents, were like, that's not possible, because she was like, feel so bad for my parents. Like, I don't deserve them. And it's like, honey, no parent ever feels like that about their kid. Like,
but also it was like, but what did you do to them?
Right.
You haven't explained.
Yeah, I feel like there was just a lot of like vagueness, which I understand.
Very vague,
because like you're not going to want to put everything out there, but it's like, and then why do a documentary?
Right. Like I was expecting like when Haley went on Call Her Daddy and everyone was like, she's going on to like damage control before
like get
the doc comes out. So I was like, I can't wait to watch this doc. But then when I watched it, they said zero about her relationship.
This is what makes me wonder, is that so Haley went on Call Her Daddy obviously to do it was like
get ahead of it.
Sorry, stuttered there. And then 2 days, however many days after that came out, we had the photos of Selena and Haley.
Well, I kind of thought they were working together. Like I thought Haley went on Call Her Daddy for the documentary to kind of like,
because then they took like a post
and then
together.
they got the photo together.
And then they got a photo together.
Like, okay, so that was like the trade-off.
And then
Selena's endorsement for her kind of like doing this thing for the documentary.
But Rolling Stones, so the day that My Mind and Me came out, Rolling Stones did a article with Selena, where in the article Selena says that she felt bad for 2 straight days after the Haley interview came out. And that makes me think that she did cut all the stuff with Haley and Justin, that they probably she did that podcast. She did that podcast. Then she, Selena probably felt horrible about it, got in her mind, had like a little episode probably of like like, I'm the worst, I hate myself, why, and then saw Haley at the American Music Awards. They made up. She figured that it wasn't worth it, maybe, to put it out, or it was the wrong time, wasn't going to do well, and what she decided to cut it. I think that timeline makes the most sense.
Yeah, because it would have been interesting to hear more about that, and then like more of like what was the cut, because I know she was like, I get really down, or like she didn't go that much into detail.
No, she didn't.
And she didn't. Oh, once they did say, are you going to take your meds today? I know you don't want to.
Yeah,
I know.
So
it's like, okay. I also thought it was weird. This is like kind of side note, but she like talked a lot about how she wanted to do like all this philanthropy. I can't even say it.
Yeah, that's a hard word.
Yeah,
that thing. Yeah,
charity.
That thing, charity. and like, but she never really like talked about it beyond that, like what she wants to do. Like she kind of mentioned it, and it's also like, you're fucking Selena Gomez. Like, you can stop touring whenever. Like, like you're. I think you're.
I was thinking that
like,
too.
just do it. Then.
Like, I was like, how much money do you have? Because clearly, like, with her mental illness, this touring thing doesn't work.
It's not working.
And
like, stop doing it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I relate to that because, like, even when she was in the chair and everyone was talking and she was like, I get so overwhelmed with stuff like that. Yeah, and I was like, she, like, the mother me was like, she needs to get out of this scenario. She needs to get out of this room.
And she was saying she was hot and she was tapping on her head. It was like, I was starting to get anxious.
Yeah. She was like crawling out of her skin.
Yeah. And she ran out of the room. People were commenting on that saying, she's so difficult. I'm like, how is it to never experience anxiety in your life?
I felt like those moments were like the moments we wanted to see that were like real. And like when she would like get like kind of sassy with who's her assistant?
Do you guys want to talk about Raquel?
Raquel.
Let's talk about her best friend, girl.
Yeah.
It's her best friend.
That's her best friend.
Okay. They definitely have sister vibes in the way that like
for sure.
When like I felt like sometimes like one of the fights they were having about the birthday party, I felt like Raquel was just trying to like bug the shit out of her and was like, I just think it'd be fun.
I should go. And she's like, I've literally been working 24 hours every day.
I have to film a music video the next day.
So I can take you on tour with me. Like,
and she's like,
her response was nice.
Yeah.
Which is like, that will really get to you.
Yeah.
Especially if you have like a personality just when you're like, what's that?
Sorry, what did you say to me?
Yeah. You're like, noted.
I also totally related to Selena because when I'm overwhelmed and then someone's like, are we doing lunch?
Yeah.
I will get like...
You're like, stop trying to overschedule me,
I will get like
asshole.
offended. Yeah. Like, I'm like, how dare you ask me to do something when I have a job? And like it's
I have a life.
Yeah.
So I got Selena's like... I could feel her tension in her body of like, I have to go to a fucking dinner. And her friend's like, I thought you'd want to go. And she was like, I want to. The point is that like, I can't. Yeah. Because I'm sick, clearly.
And it's like... Especially because it's like everyone's so aware of these issues with her. Like, if they're not, why are you put like the document? The whole documentary is about it. It's like, so why are you kind of pressuring her to do anything?
Yeah,
like it just seemed weird. And like when Raquel was like, what did she say? She was like, "This isn't real life." When they were on,
this isn't your reality.
This isn't your reality. It's like
that kind of made me laugh.
No, it was I was like,
she's like, I want to move to Kenya.
Yeah, I didn't know what we were getting at with that.
Maybe don't do that, but like, just stop doing music. Like, I don't think you like it as much as you're acting or like you're like, she obviously feels really pressured to keep doing it.
Right. That's what I thought. I said her staff, like she's, I think again, it's like these child stars like Justin Bieber's in the exact same situation where like so many people that like raised you and, like, are living off of you.
And they rely on you.
Yeah.
To, like,
so it's like cancel the tour and like lose all your friends.
Yeah.
Essential friends / paid employees that sleep with you.
Figures. Why does she have her whole payroll in her California king size bed?
I was like, no wonder you're melting down. Like when someone was like, do you want to watch a movie? I was like, I'd want to watch a movie, but you need to beat it.
Yeah.
That's like by myself.
Not with my accountant in my
like
bed.
literally people were sleeping in her bed.
That was stressing me out too. Like when she was like, I need everything to stop. I'm like, that was cute for you guys to all leave.
Yeah.
Like, why is everybody still there?
They're standing around her bed, hovering over her, being like, Selena, are you ready for the Today Show?
I know.
Like, Jesus. No wonder this girl's going fucking crazy.
Yeah. Like, you gotta do glam and I was like, oh,
no, like I think she just needs to quit.
Yeah.
Well, she
like,
also started working when she was 7.
Yeah. Like, it's like, you just don't need to be doing this. Like, you don't need to be doing it to yourself at all.
When she did the interview with that host that was like, and what do you want to do after this? And she was like, philanthropy. And then the host was like, okay,
now
great,
that was crazy.
Thanks. And she was like, great, thanks.
I felt like you really understood me there.
Yeah.
Like,
you can just
how did you guys feel about that?
So obviously Selena has some triggers to her Disney days where I really
she looks like a witch.
She looks, I look back on the Disney interviews and they do talk about this in that What I Will Say, Jelena Roundup, is that as a kid, I would watch these Disney red carpet interviews and think that they were just so smart and so, well spoken. Yeah. And then I watched them back and I'm like, they're trying to remember what the cue card was that they just said that they had to read off of. The entire interviews were scripted from every joke to every mention to, whatever. So I think that she probably has this feeling of like nobody cares what she's doing and nobody actually gives a shit about Selena. They care about Selena Gomez.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Which is fair. But also too, like, if you're going to be doing these interviews, you're Selena Gomez. So you can change the narrative of the interview, I think.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like she could go on and be like, this is what I want to talk. Like, I'm not taking interviews unless I'm talking about this thing that is really important to me and like is what I want to do in my next era.
Yes.
So it's like, it's kind of interesting to me, like, that she hasn't taken that stand or like that nobody in her team has helped her take that stand.
Well, I feel like that's what people were kind of pushing on Raquel, but I'm like, she's not in the position. Like, she needs someone older, smarter, helping guide Selena.
Exactly.
That shouldn't be up to her best friend to, like, help her find happiness.
No, literally.
Because one thing I definitely took away from it, she does not seem happy. Like I was saying to Anna, like, she seems
absolutely not
miserable.
Yeah, she hates her life.
Yeah,
Sorry, you guys.
Well, I was just going to say about the interviewing thing. The thing that I was like, okay, first of all, that interviewer is working too.
Yeah. No.
And they're probably in their head like, I don't want to waste your time. I get 10 minutes and there's a lineup of people behind me. Yeah. So what is she supposed to say? Like, oh my God, so cool. Let's go for lunch and talk about it. She literally just needs the sound bites, which I know sucks.
Yeah.
And for Selena, obviously, she's just...
It's triggering.
Like, I'm like that when I'm PMSing. Like, if I don't feel seen and heard, I'll just be like, well, who cares anyway? And I'll just like run off crying.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what she did. So I felt like I don't feel like the interviewer was trying to be rude. She was probably like, I used up my 5 minutes and I gotta go.
And they probably also like, she probably had such strict like questions and stuff that she had to ask. Like even like working for radio, like whenever they interview people on the radio, it's like they have to ask, like they're giving questions from like national or whatever. And it's like, would you rather tricks or treats for Halloween? It's like,
so embarrassing.
Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, no. I think that's what bothered Selena. That was so fresh off the Kenya trip where she felt like she had such meaningful conversations, which those girls were incredibly impressive.
I love
oh my God. Yes.
And was doing all this great work that she's passionate about. And then she's shipped off to Paris and they're like, what is the first word that comes to name when you think of the DJ Marshmallow? Like,
such a dumb
she was
question.
probably like
fluffy.
fluffy. So she was probably like, is this seriously what I'm doing with my time? But it was just more of a reaction. But I do want to just quickly talk on Raquel a little bit more since that's what's been people are
on
taking
TikTok.
away.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I feel like two different types of way about Raquel. On one hand, I'm like, her and Selena have been friends for over 10 years. You saw 5 of their conversations. Of their entire 10-year friendship. While, Selena is going through a really hard time. Madison, can you imagine if the shit that you and I go through when the other person's trying to help them and people were filming us and cutting up our conversations and posting it? Like, of course people would think Maddie was a shitty friend. Of course people would think I was a shitty friend. Like, because we have a close relationship, I can be fucking real with Maddie more so than other people.
Absolutely,
Like, having any kind of relationship, like friendship, like dating, relationship, any kind of relationship with someone who has mental illness or like has any kind of mental health issue, it's like that is so hard. Like, so I feel like Raquel, it's like, okay, she goes through probably a lot. Like she's with Selena 24/7. Like, and I'm not saying like, oh, she can just like be a dick to her because of it, but it's like, you kind of have to give her a little bit of slack because it's like she's
you don't know what she had gone through that day. And actually, like, you saying that, I thought that too. Because we have people in our family with mental illness. And it is hard. It's harder. And like we have children and we call those children like higher needs because children that it's just harder to deal with people.
No, like literally even me, like I know when I'm like going through like some kind of depressive episode or like an anxiety like episode, I'm such a bitch.
Yeah, like, and like I'm impossible to deal with.
Like and I don't blame people for like being like, you fucking suck right now. Like it's like, I do suck right now. Like that's fair. As long as like afterwards it's like, okay, we can.
And Selena did suck that day. You could tell, like, and I related, like, to that, like, because everyone does. Everyone has those days where, like, she might have been like, I just want to be with my friends. So her friend was like, well, we have a birthday dinner. And she's like, too bad I can't go because I have the next day. And it's like, you know what I mean?
It's like, okay,
Also, like,
so Raquel's like, okay,
and like, Raquel talked about like being at the hospital when Selena had her mental break and everything, and so that could be hard to watch someone go through as well. And also what I took away, like, do I think Raquel's a little bitchy? But also Selena's quite literally surrounded by yes men.
Right. Like she's also like handing her water. I'm like, this dynamic is just messed up when your best friend is getting paid by you, so she has to take your shit technically.
And so I feel like she's surrounded by so many yes men, but
so it's weird Selena
maybe having Raquel be that person who is a little realer with Selena, because Raquel was like, you don't seem happy, and she wasn't,
and she wasn't.
So that's maybe she does need someone like that, and
in the Kenya thing, it was true. Like I totally get what Selena means. Like you have those moments, Selena meant, right? You're just like, this is what life's about. But then her friend is like bringing her back to earth, and being like, but we can't live and
move to Kenya,
exactly,
this crazy life. But it's like also too, there's definitely some kind of compromise in the middle. Like, just stop touring. Stop trying to live this life.
I don't think she'll ever tour again. Now with her lupus.
I hope she doesn't.
I know.
Like, I hate it. Like, don't do it.
It's so unreasonable that like she had a freaking kidney transplant. So not only is she struggling mentally, her body's literally breaking down, like
constantly in pain.
So much. Like
so
it's
what
just
do
a
we
lot.
think about that friend?
The Francia?
That whole
I was
thing.
Gonna bring that up.
So that was like some Twitter drama or something.
So Selena said in the documentary that she never really had a group of girlfriends in the industry. Her real only friend in the industry is Taylor Swift. And some news outlet posted this on Instagram. Francia commented, interesting, and unfollowed.
She's an actress, I guess, which I didn't know.
No, I didn't know that either.
And she's in a bunch of random shit. Like,
well, that's like Selena's
IMDb
point. She's like, I mean, famous friends.
Famous bitch.
She's like, I'm famous. Like sorry to say you're not.
But she unfollowed Selena, and then Selena responded to a hate comment of somebody saying like, why didn't you mention Frances? And Selena said, sorry, I don't know, I didn't name every single
friend.
But it's like, this is the friend that did give you a kid.
Yeah.
Kidney.
I know, I was torn.
I didn't think they gave her enough creds in the documentary.
I don't think they gave the kidney transplant any airtime.
Any airtime. And it's like, okay, like I understand that there's other stuff you wanted to talk about, but it's like, that was a huge thing. And like if I was the girl who gave her a kidney, I'd be kind of pissed. Like, I'd be like, that's my fucking kidney.
I know, I was really thinking about that. I was like, what do you owe someone? Yeah, I know. I was like, that's really, I don't know, blurry.
Like, it's like, okay, I guess you don't owe them anything, but like, you kind of do.
But you kind of do.
Like, it's like, it's like, okay, you don't owe them, but it's like, it would be respectful.
Right.
Like, nice to like throw in there.
And then another part I thought was like, was she meaning like singers? Because she mentioned Taylor.
So it's like, okay, fair, makes sense.
But she could have given her a little shout out.
I think she might be referencing like, when I go to the American Music Awards or when I go to the Munch Music Awards, who else would I sit with? She always sits with Taylor.
Yeah, she could be saying
it's like
that.
Taylor's group of people and friends, and then like Selena's sitting with Taylor. So
but her response was almost weirder to be like, sorry, I didn't list every
Selena
friend.
makes things worse. Selena does.
She does.
Like
She's
I said, with her Instagram comments, like back in the day, where she'd be like, "Nope, Justin's off fucking a model." Like she's very reactive.
I love that about her.
She's reactive. That's a good word.
We have some reactive people.
We do, because she should have responded with like, obviously.
Of course, I love Francia and everything she did for me. The documentary was more on my mental health and physical or something.
Which is something like that.
Is it true?
Something like
would have been
that.
better.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, fair. You know?
Now, upon review of this documentary, I'm realizing what was the frickin' point of it.
So that's the thing.
that's my, I don't know.
So
like,
that is
vague.
where we come down to, because people were saying like, I can't believe everybody is hating on Raquel this bad. She had to turn her Instagram comments, blah, blah, blah. Okay,
barely did anything
at the end
wrong.
of the day, this is a movie, and we as the viewers expect a middle, a beginning, a middle, and a closed finish. So what was the point of leaving in all these videos of Selena and Raquel being kind of bitchy to each other if it wasn't going to resolve and like something about like, I'm just so glad I have someone like you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It just ended and they're still friends. So we, the viewer, are kind of like, were we supposed to be rooting for this bitch?
Yeah.
Like, what's
she is coming out with a book.
Raquel?
It's
are they still friends?
Oh, no,
yes.
I want them to be friends. I hope
they are good friends.
Okay.
They're
Because I feel like Selena needs friends.
Selena posted a couple TikToks on her story the other night. They did like a release My Mind and Me release party at her house, like a PJ party, and Raquel was there in like all the videos.
Okay,
so
good. Yeah.
They're still good, but I don't understand why those clips of Raquel were kept in. Like, we didn't really get much of good Raquel.
I know.
So everything's left in for a reason. So it makes me wonder, what were we getting at? Maybe it's to promote her book, which is about like finding positivity and joy in every moment. So maybe some people are like, maybe she's just like
joyful.
Toxic positivity. Like,
I also just think it's weird too. Like, if Selena has this like narrative that she really wants to like start giving back or whatever, why didn't she do something along with the documentary? Like, more eyes have been on Selena now than any other time. It's like, why wouldn't you take that where you've put a spotlight on all these things that you say you want to like do this stuff for, but you haven't actually taken any action. Like, to me, it just kind of seemed like a way to justify how negative she's been for the past 5 years. Because she has been. Like, I never like watching Selena Gomez stuff, like interviews and stuff, because she's
I have a question for you guys. Why does she talk with her mouth locked shut? Like,
she always has. She always has.
I've actually Googled it.
It's gotten worse over time. I feel like it's a stress thing.
I think it's a stress thing.
It could be because of her lupus too. Maybe like it's like tight. Because I've always like, I'd see her in interviews after she came back and started doing interviews again, and she'd always be like, I was like, something is so wrong with her voice and her jaw, but then maybe then I was like, maybe it's because she has like an autoimmune disorder and her like jaws flared up or something. I don't know, but
would have been better if it concluded with like her being like, I think I'm done with the industry, and then like walking away. Then it would have been like
announcing what she wants to do next. Like, it just seems so. It seemed unfinished. It seemed weird. It did just seem like it was justifying like how shitty she is.
Almost not like fully like how we would say like in school for PR and stuff. Like, it's not like flushed out. Like, it's not flushed out.
It wasn't flushed out.
Vague. It was so
it was vague. The release wasn't great. I don't know if they should have advertised it as a documentary over the last 5 years, if they were going to cut 3 years out of it. I just feel like overall,
like it was too stretched out.
Yeah.
But nothing about the kidney thing. Yeah. Like, she mentioned it once, which is so odd. Because you think that
she just threw a picture in. Like, it wasn't even.
I know.
That would be such a hard recovery. And then nothing about her relationships. And then basically they were making it seem like the biggest bombshell that is she bipolar? Is that what she?
Bipolar, I think.
And do they call it? It's not called bipolar anymore, is it? What is it?
I think it is.
Oh, yes, it is.
I think it is.
Okay. Oh, yeah. BPD. That's where I'm like used to hearing like the act. I'm like, it sounded more cool.
No, that's mine. I have the cool one.
Okay. That. Oh yeah. Okay. So then, anyway, so that comes out. It's like, we already know that.
Yeah, we've known for years.
Yeah. So that's not like a bombshell for us.
It's not like they were dropping that in the documentary.
Right. And also like mental health and like advocating for your mental health is so much more like in the media now than before, that it's like it's not that dramatic.
It's not really groundbreaking. Like, they were trying to make it like I feel like nowadays where everyone's talking about mental health, it's less about like, I think maybe 10 years ago, it was kind of more about talking about mental health, shedding a light on it, because nobody knew anything about it. Yeah, exactly. But now it's like, okay, people know people have it. Now it's more of taking action to do something about it. And I just feel like there was no action. Like, I think that's my problem with the documentary.
I get what you're saying too, where, I felt like the big part of it was her being bipolar, and even though we already knew that, getting diagnosed with something like that can be so scary and hard. And I definitely really struggled with it for months. Like learning to like, love this new part of you, and you feel
and there's
like
a lot of stigma,
and you feel deficient.
You just, a lot of negative things going on, rediscovering your identity, whatever. So if that was going to be the big buildup, let's see Selena work through her bipolar diagnosis. That would have been really nice for someone like myself who also, I think that it was just a lot of like,
she showed a lot of the negative parts.
And kidney and
too much.
Yeah,
and I left feeling like I'm like, she's still sick. I don't feel like she's working. And as a fan, I'm like, I wouldn't want to like.
I don't want to support
or like
her,
talk about like
you don't want to be here.
I don't want to watch her doing a shitty interview that I know she didn't want to do, or like go on tour. Like, I'm obviously not going to buy a tour ticket. Like, it just seemed so weird.
Like, God forbid, or like great.
Even the medication journey. She didn't talk about that. Like,
like trying to find the right medication. Like, that's such a thing too. And it's like,
it's struggling with taking medication. Like, I know that feeling of being like, I don't want to take a pill every day.
Like, that's literally something I struggle with so bad. So it's like, even just seeing her do that, it's like, okay, that would have been super interesting and like helpful.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. I don't know. Like, I just feel like it didn't really touch on the important things. It was more of like a gloss over.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, we're gonna need you to redo that, Selena.
We're like 5 more years.
Yeah, we're like that. Just I hope you didn't spend too much money on that doc, girl, because we got no answers.
Nobody's gonna be getting any money back now. She gave us that Apple TV.
No,
literally. Thank you, girl.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I do like Selena though.
I do like Selena.
I guess I like
she's gorgeous too.
But just talking about it more, I'm like, maybe I didn't like the dog.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I know.
It was an enjoyable watch to see into her life. It had a lot of flaws. Could have been better.
It wasn't. It definitely wasn't like thrilling.
Yeah.
Oh, she's sad again.
Yeah.
I guess it's honest in that way.
I kind of liked her scene because you see celebrities being so kind all the time.
I kind of liked her being
I know.
a bitch.
Like when she was being bitchy and she was like, I even look like a witch.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's like,
I know. One more thing about it, and then we do have to go because kids are out of school. But I did like how she looks at people.
Yeah.
Like I can tell she's so empathic.
Yeah.
Like my heart was breaking for her because when people are talking to her, you can see her heart breaking.
Yeah.
She's taking on all of their stuff.
That was the most genuine part of the whole documentary when she said, what makes me happy is connection.
Yeah.
And I believe that through and through.
You can tell.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I could tell. And as like a highly sensitive person and someone who feels everything, and I know she does on various levels, I think that's why being in the public eye is probably like far too painful for her.
And exhausting.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's too late for us to be child stars, so we're good.
Thank
you guys so much for coming.
Yes, that was so fun. We're so excited for January and your podcast coming up. And follow them on social media. What's your handle on social media?
At the Weekend Roundup everywhere. You can find us.
They're really good on TikTok, really good on Instagram. They are media mavens. They're professionals.
Thank you for having us. We love Pop Pod.
Anytime. Seriously. We love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.